pork for obvious reasons, because it's delicious. But there's a fantastic write-up in Eater.com. Again, they're not based in Memphis. They're based in San Francisco. But the final dagger for me was going into Kroger and seeing this huge lineup of barbecue sauces from St. Louis style to Memphis style to Kansas City style to South Carolina style. And when I turned the bottle over, none of them are made in the South. They're from Cincinnati, Ohio. And unless Cincinnati, Ohio is the new South, and nobody told me about it, I could be naive about this. The overwhelming feeling I had was that the Southern brand was being repackaged by other people and sold back to Southerners. And I fundamentally had a belief that things in the South could be manufactured in the South from Southern products, and we could sell them as better, and if not better, if not good, if not better, than anyone else is doing currently right now. Okay, there just didn't seem to be a good excuse of why that wasn't happening. So I met a man named Adrian Boyd. Adrian Boyd's family, 100 years ago, they were tenant farmers in the Mississippi Delta, and they began manufacturing this barbecue sauce in Mississippi. And what it was is that this is a family that began manufacturing to celebrate family get-togethers, celebration, harvest, all these different things. They had gone to Chicago with these barbecue sauce recipes, and for 100 years, generation by generation, Adrian had kept these barbecue sauces with him. And right then and there, Adrian and I got together, and we made a decision that we were going to form this company, which I might add was actually created a year to this month. This is our 1 month anniversary. That we were going to create this company, and it was going to be founded on a couple principles. The one principle is that we were going to create a company that everything was going to be either sourced locally or by another local southern state. Okay, and the reason for that was that we wanted to give back to our other, to have some sort of social responsibility to support other local businesses. And the other thing is that we had a fundamental belief that some of the best things, the best exports to come out of the South were books, the blues, and funkin' barbecue. So we really felt passionately about that, and we went ahead to making these barbecue sauces. We went ahead and we went through these recipes, we touched them up and punched them up by infusing South Asian spices, which is really directly responsible to our third partner. His name is Anish, and he came on board to help us with design and marketing. He's Adrian's brother-in-law, and really kind of helped punch up these sauces to make them palatable to the new palate. So that really kind of so since we started, well, let me back up. So we began this company with $900. We went ahead and did about 4 or 5 months of market research to really find where we could make the biggest impact. And what we found is in the barbecue field that the high-end organic market was really shallow, and it had a really shallow bench. There wasn't much competition there. And so we really kind of made a decision that was where we could have the biggest impact. We began manufacturing these barbecue sauces. We decided to go on a clean route, not so much because we really wanted to we felt like that we could not only monetize on this with our product, but we also felt a social responsibility that we were having a family product, and we wanted something that people could feel good about taking back to their family and their kids. And so we began manufacturing in September of last year. As of today, we're in 14 different stores, and in April of this year, we recently landed at Whole Foods Market. We are the first ever Memphis area produced barbecue sauce to see a shelf in Whole Foods. Now, I will walk that back a little bit because they also onboarded Rendezvous Barbecue, but Rendezvous co-packs out to a company in Kentucky. So, but we're happy sharing the shelf space with Rendezvous. Now, that kind of gets to what is different about us? What is the main thing that we're offering that other people aren't? And again, it's because we have a clean product. It's no high fructose corn syrup, no MSG, no tricalcium phosphate, which is basically what 99% of other companies are doing when they make their rubs. And on top of that is each one of our products is, again, sourced from a local product. Each one of our products serves a purpose. In our Sweet and Smoky, we actually source honey from a local honey hive in Shelby County. So let's talk about the business aspect of it. I'm not going to get in, I've been to enough of these presentations is when I start talking about if we could only penetrate this $2 multi-billion-dollar a year industry, everyone collectively rolls their eyes. But let me go ahead and talk about the Memphis market. The Memphis market in barbecue is a $9.9 million per year in market. Each year, the average Memphian will spend $300 hosting 4th of July barbecue. That's each year. So this is our market, right? And you can see that in the heart of barbecue, Memphis is right there, right? And those are the most populated barbecue states as far as revenue sales. Now, let me focus on the lime green 23% slice, because that's really where we've spent a lot of our time. And what we've done is we've gone to farmers markets and also other boutique markets, and we were starting to have a conversation with people in those markets. We're talking not only about that our product is clean, that it's all natural, but also that it's functional, it serves a purpose. And we're asking them, well, what do you like to cook? And we talk to them about what it is that our product will do for their food. And we have people that are already willing. They're coming to these markets, they're willing to pay a higher price because they fundamentally believe that it's a better quality product, and it is. And so we're marketing with those people, and we're having those kinds of conversations. Now, with the onboarding of Whole Foods, we are looking to expand in the next few years to what we call our average shoppers. These are stores like not only Whole Foods, but also Sprouts, Fresh Market, and we're going to be looking to expand in that market. Also our online market. And what we've done is when we did our online, what we looked at is we looked at for states that are already really receptive to online sales, and we identified those, which are right there. And also, we are also looking to partner with other companies. There's a lot of companies out there that do things like the Barbecue of the Month Club. They have customers, they need a product to fill that need for their customers. So we're working with them. I think if you were going to take one thing away from our company, a company that started with $900, is that we fundamentally understand how to leverage our infrastructure. So when we came out, we started at the beginning of the year, we believed that $100,000 would get us to where we need to do in order to be competitive. We wanted to lower our costs by making larger buys. Right now, we produce everything each month. We sell out at the end of the month. Our dream is to get to a place where we can manufacture on a 6-month spectrum rather than a month-to-month spectrum. Now, I will say that, again, like Jessica was saying, that we went to New Orleans. We competed at the the New Orleans Entrepreneur Week. That led to a meeting with an investor that actually owns a barbecue manufacturing company in Missouri, and right now we're in talks with them for an investment of $500,000 over the next 3 years. Thank you. We're really happy about it. So, and it really dovetails exactly with what we're trying to do. Our financial projections, again, I really want to drive this home. When I say that we started with $900, it was an investment of $300 per partner. That's not the whole story. We started with $900. $500 of that $900 went to the state of Mississippi as a bond payment so we could have a sales license. Another $200 went to securing barcodes so that we could sell our product around the globe. You know, again, we knew that we were going to end up in the market space. We knew in order to have that, we had to have these barcodes. So we really started with less than $900. What we were able to do is we were able to do some pre-sales to raise enough capital in order to do our first production launch. And then since then, as of February, we topped $10,000 in sales with over 10,000 units sold as of today. And so this month, we've actually had a sales-breaking record where we broke our all-time sales record. We're really into our market right now, or our season, so to speak. So each month has been better than the last. The most important part of this, again, I've told you about Adrian. He has these 400-year-old recipes that have been with his family generation after generation. Adrian is the person that I can come to and I can say, I need to tweak this, we need to make this ready for this kind of market, and he's ready to do that. Our partner Anish Alam, again, Anish is fantastic. He does all the branding, all the design work for our product. He also works for a company that contracts out to Samsung, and he's based in Chicago and does a lot of this fantastic work. And then the last is me. I've got 20 years experience in sales, and I also previously worked for a barbecue company. I also want to talk about another thing, which is one of the things that we're doing, which is we're doing a lot of collaboration, and we love it. One of the companies that we're currently collaborating with is a company called Home Place Pastures. If you've never heard of it, I can tell you've probably had their meat if you've ever gone to Sonny Williams Steakhouse. They're a 9th generation farm. They're based in Como, Mississippi, and we're working with them right now to develop meat rubs for different steaks and things like that. Another company that we're currently working with is a vegetarian company that does home-based deliveries called My Veggie Chef that I met through the Delta Network, Entrepreneur Network. They're one of the leading home delivery systems of vegan food and plant-based food, and it just so happens that our peach barbecue sauce is vegan. And so we're working with them to develop more lines of vegan-friendly barbecue sauce. Personally, this is like a real point of pride because we already know we can make ribs taste delicious, but the fact that we can make tofu taste delicious, it's something special. That's special. The last but not least is I happened to be at a symposium that was put on by the Memphis Chamber of Commerce that led to a meeting of a marketing rep with the company called Chewy.com. And with a discussion with the person at Chewy is we're in talks with them to develop a pet-friendly barbecue sauce. So I think if you look at the pet market, it is staggering. I think they're one of the markets that are really looking to overtake coffee and people that take care of their pets. And so this is something that we're really excited about. And it is a thing. I know I just went to the Memphis Botanical Gardens dog park, and there's companies that are selling dog popsicles. And I did not try them, but my dog tells me they're delicious. But that's what we're up to. That's where we think we're going in the future. Thank you for coming. I have samples out in the other room, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you. So we've got a mic up at the front that we're going to pass around. We're going to make sure it's green before we talk into it. And I know you guys have some questions for Pete and his magnificent barbecue company.
I'm just curious, is this thing working?
It is.
I'm just curious, what part the online sales plays in your longer range game plan? Is it just something to, get going while you're, fighting for shelf space, and eventually it'll just be, a fraction of your business, or is it possible to be an important part of it long term?
It's extremely important, and here's the reason why: is like all other companies, we want a good business mix. And it's really tempting to have the wholesale market really dominate our entire business mix, but we can't have that happen because that really pigeonholes us. And it also, we're losing revenue that way. So the online market is extremely important to us. To be completely honest, it's a combination of two things. The number one thing is operating capital in order to improve our online infrastructure with our platform to be able to really engage people. And so
aside from the bootstrap part, aside from the bootstrap, or then so the next year or so, let's say 5 years from now,
right,
when you're not totally mature, I mean you're still going to be expanding then, but let's say 5 years from now, when you really got traction and and shelf space and all that, or I'm just curious, what should online sales be when you're at a mature mix? I mean, still growing,
right,
but not bootstrapping mix.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that where we feel comfortable at with our numbers is we want them to be around 30%. Our online sales and our retail sales to be around 30%. So we're comfortable with having our wholesale market would be a good 60%, but around the 30 to 40% mark is where we like to see our retail market.
Okay. Who's next?
Sure, there are more questions.
Nice presentation.
Oh, thank you.
I saw his first presentation back in November or December of last year, and it's come a long way. And it's phenomenal what you guys have done in a very short period of time. Going back, follow up with that question, you explain the difference between the wholesale, who you're going after from a wholesale standpoint versus the retail.
Right.
To make sure everybody understands that, because that's kind of important what you're trying to do.
So with our wholesale market, the companies that we talk to, here's one thing that in order for us to be successful, we fundamentally believe that we have to have a conversation with, let me put it this way, the only difference between Ruth Chris and McDonald's is that one is more expensive than the other, it's not going to be a productive conversation for somebody like us. We really want to engage people who are the type of people who look at the bottle and the first thing they do is they turn and take a look at the ingredients and they look at what it's made with, okay? And they're going to see, if they do that, they're going to see that no MSG, no high fructose corn syrup, people that have a lot of questions about what we're putting into our product, okay? And that really leads for us a conversation with the fact that we actually source our mayonnaise from a New Orleans-based company called Blue Plate. Not only because they have an amazing natural mayonnaise, but it's because, again, it's part of our philosophy that we're going to source things from other Southern companies. So with that with the wholesale market, we're looking for other companies that, again, are engaged in more of a high-end products. We don't want to get into a slugfest with dollar barbecue sauce. It's just not our field. Again, what we want to do is we want to engage people where, and we know our per unit economics. We feel good being in the $6 per product range. That's something that we feel comfortable with, and that we've seen when we talk to our other vendors that they're comfortable with being too. We look at our economics as kind of an ecosystem. It's not just enough for us to come in and make money on our end. I could come in and sell a case of barbecue sauce for $200, but unless that vendor is able to move that case within a month, it's not going to be a beneficial relationship. So when we go in, when we're having these conversations with our whole food markets, we're not doing the bargain or the discount places that are basically selling it for 2 cents over retail or what they purchase it from us on. We're looking for places that are, again, they're going to add a 30% margin on there. That's going to basically get our product up to about the $6 range where we feel that it's comfortable with, and our research has shown that it's going to sell. It's beneficial for them. It's beneficial for us. For example, we're working with a company called Curb Market in Memphis. They're again an all-natural grocery store chain. Each of the 14 stores we're in, our expectation is that each store is going to do about $2,000 per year in revenue. The Curb Market has already surpassed that after 3 months of us being in there. And again, I think it's because of that cooperative relationship that we have, that the managers really feel good about pushing our product. We're in there almost every other weekend, helping them push product as part of our commitment to their success. So again, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not, but okay.
Pete, great presentation, great story. Talk about scaling your business. That's going to be a challenge. If Costco or Walmart or wherever, Whole Foods obviously has created some challenges for you guys and so forth. Talk about how you're addressing that, and obviously capital is going to be helpful with that. What else do you need?
Yeah. Whole Foods Market just recently announced that they're no longer onboarding local products. We made it in right under the cut. We actually, the way we're addressing that is we're being aggressive. We're having these conversations, and we're also taking a breath and doing a slow growth model. The best indicator, the best thing that helps us is we could come in and talk to these local grocery stores about the value of our product, but it's even better to show them the sales records, the sales data. I talked earlier about how we went to the symposium that was put on by the Memphis Chamber of Commerce that actually led to a conversation not only with Chewy.com, but also with the marketing VP for the region of Costco. And I was invited to come and speak to the Costco. They had a business breakfast that they hosted, and they invited me to come in and talk about my product. So I think it's the old adage that you have to network to get work. And so that's what we're doing right now. There's probably a better solution or a better way to go about that. The nice thing about us is that, again, with food products, it's not really complicated. The infrastructure is already there. We could work with distributors, and we probably will once we get to a point where it's just not feasible for us to self-distribute anymore. And then once we get it with a distributor, they're going to basically take that over, and we're going to probably see rapid expansion from maybe 50 stores to 100 to 200 to 1,000.
Anybody else? No other questions for Pete this morning. All right. Well, Pete's going to stick around for a second. So if you were feeling a little microphone shy.
Actually, I have some more things to add.
Ah.
So you guys know that we went to New Orleans, and we were part of the Delta Entrepreneur Network. And one of the people that were with us as a coach was Jessica, and she was amazing. And she was very supportive. The entire team loved her and adored her, so much so that we woke up hungover, and we all got together and signed a card for her to thank her for all of her stuff. And we came down arm in arm to present it to her, and we found out that she caught the first train out of New Orleans. And so, Jessica,
I
here
did.
you go.
Oh, thank you, Pete.
I've kept it in my bag.
So sweet. Does it come with barbecue?
It's been in my bag. It's been to every barbecue delivery. It's not by choice, but yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So does it come with barbecue? No?
We'll see.
That's a hard no. All right. All right. So you're going to stick around for a minute.
Sure.
Yes? And so people can ask questions, because sometimes people get real weird about asking with a microphone. It's a whole thing.
No, that's fine.
I don't get it, but whatever.
You wanna read?
So Pete needs to meet these people, y'all. Right? So think about who you know. You've heard his story now, right? So I don't need contact information for these people. I just need a commitment. So if you know that your Aunt Suzanne is in charge of distribution for, XYZ grocery store chain, then just indicate on the back of the card that you'll make a connection between Pete and your Aunt Suzanne. It's that simple. And then you give the cards to us, and we follow up and make sure that you facilitate those connections. This program has allowed what we think are some pretty impressive connections to happen. Sales, investments, all manner of things, all because you guys were generous enough to think about who you could connect to the presenter who was here that week. So I'm going to give you a second to think through who you know. There's coffee out there. There are donuts out there. Again, there are suggestions up here for who Pete needs to meet, right? It's investors, it's distributors, and it's decision makers inside of grocery store chains or individual one-off grocery stores. Or maybe it's a restaurant that needs to use your product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I say that because I know there are some restaurant owners in the room, so I'm just giving you a little extra love there.
Yeah.
Do what I can. All right, so next week it is FinTech time. Next week we have Quotanda, or Quotanda. I get it wrong every time, pick one. Anyhow, all the way from Mexico City to tell you guys about his awesome student loan product. But it's not as much fun as barbecue this morning, so come and meet Pete.
It's definitely
And next
not tasty.
week, we'll learn all about Quotanda. So thanks. Have a good day.